How are these pot smokers awake this early?
I don't know.
I don't get it.
It's just they're asking that about the pizza eaters.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I'm going to just walk all over the intro, man.
Hello and welcome to Unrelenting episode number 73. If you're listening, you know what day it is.
Exactly.
I'm Darren O'Neill. Who are you again? I keep hearing this voice.
Sir Gene, goddammit. So,
Sir Gene,
I'm not having a great yesterday, I guess. Technically, today's a new day, but yesterday was not a great day.
What happened?
I discovered by getting a message on my phone that apparently somebody had gotten either my actual debit card or a copy of my debit card. Whoa. And was taking money out.
Okay, so this wasn't one of those fake, I've gotten into your accounts, but you have to call me right away and trying to get more money out of me.
No, this is a notice from the bank or the app saying, "Oh, did you forget your password?"
That's always a bad sign.
So I spent some time on the phone with the bank and online with the police yesterday.
Well, that's always fun. I mean, this is
yeah, and it's it's I don't know what's going to happen.
This is one of the reasons why I don't have a debit card.
Yeah, that's good. And when I was finishing up my call with the bank, and the guy's like, "Well, we'll get that resent to you right away." I'm like, No. Do not send it. That's how we got into this problem. Right. I never got the damn card. It never showed up. Somebody got it. It wasn't me.
Ooh, so somebody intercepted it. Then it's a question of what is the procedure for activating said card? Yeah,
and I mean, they took out $1,000 in cash.
Oh.
So apparently it's activated.
That sounds like it's really activated.
Yeah.
The nice thing about that, though, is they will have a photograph of the person because ATMs do that.
Well, yes. If it was a bank ATM, they should. But it looks like this is a liquor store ATM.
Oh, even better. Like, oh, the camera's not working. Sorry about that.
Well, I'm in Austin, so I'm not really holding my breath that the cops are going to do anything about this. I think this is below the $10,000 minimum for a crime.
Oh, well, yeah, because this is nothing. If they catch people with the cash in hand, they're like, well, we'll go right ahead, sir.
Yeah.
we can't detain you. Oh, you only took 1,000.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's all right.
that's nothing.
Yeah.
Gene's got
well, they also bought some stuff at a store next to the bank ATM or next to the ATM they took money out of as well.
Oh, well, they were getting greedy then.
Yeah, a little greedy. So I'm not a super happy camper because of that, because I have no idea if I'm going to give my money back. There's a good chance I won't.
Well, you'll get it back from the purchase because that's involved with the credit card side of it, because I'm sure it's a Visa or MasterCard branded ATM, right? But the money being taken out of it is a little bit of a different story. And we understand that even if somebody has your card, they also need your PIN number, which is a little bit harder to do.
Well, I would think so, but I don't know that it is because I never got my card. So they got my physical card and I never got my ATM PIN. And so first thing I had the bank do is, well, check the fucking address you sent it to, because maybe you sent it somewhere else. They're saying the address in there is correct. So
somebody got it out of your mail.
Apparently, that's my guess is when the mail was being sorted, it was put into one of the neighbors' boxes or something like that. And I mean, I don't think any of my neighbors would do something like that, but the neighbors could certainly have thrown it into the trash saying, "Oh, that's not me."
Right. And usually
then
when they send
anybody
out stuff
can go
like
through
that,
trash.
Well, yeah, and they're usually like nondescript envelopes for security.
They're nondescript except for the fact that there's a card-sized, non-bendable portion of the envelope.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a credit card, you will find it.
Yeah, and if this was a credit card, that'd be all right? That's like 100% protection. But the fact that it's an ATM, and I'm telling the banks, like, look, I never got the card. I never activated the card. Card was never in my possession at any point in time. How the fuck am I liable for this?
Was this a brand new ATM card?
Brand new account.
Okay.
Brand new account that just got opened.
Because it's not like, oh, you are replacing an ATM card.
No.
Mm-mm. Well, this is even better because the
new account.
I'm guessing, knowing the way that all businesses, including banks, work, there was probably a nice letter included on how to set your PIN number and
probably
do all this stuff with
probably.
And it's like, and there's a lot of times the only thing you really need from the bank's end, as far as I can understand it, would be to know your phone number, and that wouldn't be that hard because then you just spoof from your phone number, and the bank's like, "Oh, I see Gene's phone number. This must be Gene.
Well,
are you
the
setting
phone
up?"
number is going to be pretty hard because I change numbers every couple of months.
Well, yeah, you are on the dark web that way.
Yeah, so then that part of it would be hard. The Social Security is probably not that hard. I mean, those numbers don't change that often. So it's certainly doable. That, and then frankly, the ease with which you can open up mailboxes is ridiculous.
Oh, of course.
So I don't know, man. It's not what I was looking forward to for a fun thing to buy this month.
Well, the problem with debit cards, going way back, exactly what you're talking about. When you have a problem with a credit card, the way the system works is if somebody had $1,000 on your credit card, they go, hey, tell you what, we will return that. We'll take that off your account while we investigate. So you're never in that issue.
Yeah. With
debit cards, it's like, well, we'll investigate.
Well,
where's my money? They're like, well, we won't know until we investigate. Well, how long could that take? I don't know. A while.
Yeah. Could take a while.
So
you never know.
And I don't see the debit cards as being that important at this point.
Yeah, I don't think I need a business debit card.
Because the only thing you really need that to do that you can't do with a credit card would be to take cash immediately out of.
I have zero interest in taking cash out of the bank.
So you don't need a debit card because that's the only, because otherwise you just really pay on a credit card and then pay your bill. And it's more convenient.
And it's a business account. So I definitely don't need to be taking cash out.
Because that is where the debit cards will definitely get
and you don't really need a debit card to deposit money these days because you just take a photo of the check on your phone and do it that way.
You never even have to go to the bank.
No. So there really is zero need for a business debit card. There's barely a need for basically an emergency cash. Oh shit, I need some cash because my car broke down kind of situation or something. And that's about it. So yeah, it's a thing.
And a lot of people have them because banks want you to have them. They push them on you.
And I can't help but to imagine my bitching about this in a George Costanza voice.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Can you believe it, Jerry? Can you believe it? I didn't even want the debit card, but no, they sent it.
They sent it. They did. They didn't ask me. I opened up a new account. And apparently they just decide to send a card that lets anybody steal money out of the account.
That's very convenient.
Oh, for the thieves, yes. Super convenient.
I'm just trying to figure out what their system is for verifying your identity to set up that card, because I would think at the very least,
there isn't one. I can tell you what that is. The way because I recently had to get a new ATM card for a different account. What they do is they send you the card along with a letter that tells you use this in any of our ATMs to activate it.
But that's not all you security.
Need. It's completely insecure. All you need is two pieces of information. One, physical card. Two, a letter that was shipped the exact same day and will always arrive at the exact same time as the card, but in a separate envelope.
Because that's tricky.
Somehow that's better than putting it in all in one. But, guess what? If they got my card, there's just as much chance that they got the other letter in a nondescript envelope from the bank that says, oh, and by the way, here's your new PIN number. I don't even know what the fuck that number is because I never got this shit. So all I know is somebody else did and then stole my money.
And then they went to a liquor store.
Yeah. Well, I think they only took out
Was the liquor store first? Like, let's
there.
make sure this is working. Or no, they did the liquor store, then they went to a different store.
So I don't know what order it was in. There was a wrong PIN notice. Like they put in the wrong PIN code.
Wait, so these assholes set up the PIN, then didn't remember what they set
Apparently,
it up to?
yeah.
Gene, are you having trouble logging into your ATM? And you're like,
Yeah.
I don't have an ATM.
Exactly. Well, that's kind of when I got that notice. I'm like, what the fuck? This is weird. And I look online. I was like, $1,000. What the fuck? So I quickly turned the card off, called the bank, called the cops. Cops are like, yeah, you can just go online, do a self fill out report.
You just post on Twitter. That's fine.
Pretty much.
Just
yeah.
post
I mean,
it.
that's Austin PD. They at their finest is like, oh, somebody like did identity theft and then use that for 4 figures worth of money that they got from you. Yeah, just go online. You
Right.
go to Austin PD and follow the instructions for I've been robbed.
So I could just see the copies like, oh, somebody get this straight.
Mhm.
Somebody intercepted your ATM card. Yes. They activated your ATM card. Yes. They took
Mhm.
money out of your ATM card. Yes. They
Mhm.
used it to buy something. Yes.
Mhm.
What do you want me to do?
Well, one of the last questions in that form you fill out is like, do you just need this for a police report number?
Yes. Yes.
And
I
I'm
do.
like, no, I want you to prosecute these bitches, find them and throw them in jail forever, which obviously is not realistic. But, I don't just want I want the number too, but I don't just want the number. I want it on record that I was robbed in this piece of shit city.
Jerry, I want justice.
That's right.
That's all we want. A little bit of justice.
I tell you.
So really, it's safer if I don't send you any of the donation money. That way.
Well, I'm not sure that right now, the way I've got shit locked down, that you could.
Right. It's like, I'd like to send you money, Gene, but I really can't. Your bank assures me it's not a good idea to send
Not
money.
no, it's whatever's coming in, it's always going out at the same time, apparently.
But the lesson for everybody is if you have a debit card, be
Shred it.
aware. Yeah. Well,
Shred it.
One, shred
That's
it
the real lesson. Shred the debit card.
and cancel it with the bank too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but do both. Yeah. But tell them not to send you a new one.
Right.
They'll be surprised and not understand, but tell them not to send a new one.
But why? Don't you want the convenience?
And I told them that there's still probably a 50-50 chance that, next week there'll be a new card in my mailbox.
See, I want that video too when that comes in.
Oh my God.
And I want the video of you on the phone with them going,
This is so ridiculous.
but the debit cards are free, Mr. Nevtuliev.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're for your convenience.
Yes. For the convenience of easy theft.
Yes, the money has been drained from your account for your convenience.
Mm-hmm.
Just think of how
Yes.
much easier it would be than paying that money to the government in the form of taxes.
Uh-huh.
We just
Oh,
take care of it.
no. I still have to pay taxes on that money. What are you talking about? That doesn't go anywhere.
Like it's a loss. Go to my bank. They've got the money. They'll pay you.
Uh-huh.
It'll be interesting to follow up, see how long it takes.
Yeah, actually, that's a damn good question. Can you deduct theft?
You would think.
I would hope. I don't know. I've never had to do it before.
Be like, nobody ever stolen from me before. that
Well,
lived.
I mean, not like this.
Yeah. You're like, I'd rather get mugged in the street. At least I get a story. I mean, you get a story here too. It's just not as good.
Uh-huh.
But
This is some newfangled high-tech thievery.
well, it doesn't even sound like it if they had to get the physical card, which does lead you to believe that it's somebody working in the postal
Yeah.
system
Yeah, exactly.
that has you have to know what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to be able to go through that procedure. I mean, for
That or just show up at 3 a.m. when it's dark out and
wearing
just
a
get
ski
in the
mask,
mailbox.
maybe.
Yeah, you could if you want. Just
I
get
guess
in
you
the
could
mailbox.
also use a ski mask when you go to the ATM. That way
You could do that as well. Yes.
they don't have you on camera using
Yeah.
the card.
The crazy part is always whenever this kind of stuff happens. Not that it's happened like this before, but is they always try to test the waters, right? So they want to do a small transaction to see if it'll work or not.
Right.
And then they do, like, this person did a $40 transaction. That worked, clearly. And it was at a grocery store.
Yeah, we had one that went to a gas station with a credit card once and did like a $5 and then bought like $400 at the Nike store.
Yeah, and then they did like a $65, actually not a round number, so clearly shopping at the store. And then they, after that, apparently decided, let's see how much money we can take out.
Now,
and thank God I did not raise the limit on that stupid ATM card.
Well, 1,000's high for an ATM card as it is. I think most are like 500 or 600.
Yeah, I think mine are 10 grand usually.
Well, see, I want to go partying with you.
Now, I know. Well, that's because you need that much for Coke.
You're right. You're like, hey, if I'm going to buy Coke, I need to get that kind of cash.
But this is a brand new account, so I hadn't fucked with that yet. No. And man, it's just ridiculous. I mean,
just wait until they have a photo from the ATM and it looks like you.
Well, that would be hilarious. That would be really funny.
They went through the whole procedure. They've got the Sir Gene costume down. They've got the beard. That would be unbelievable. I mean, even if it only looked 60% like you, the cops would be like, looks like you. You sure this ain't you?
Yeah. Well, I got an alibi.
It's always good to have an alibi.
That's right.
Is it the Russian consulate? Is that?
No, it's Uber Eats.
Oh, well, I don't know if that's going to hold up as well, but Uber Eats was delivering to your house at the same time. What was
yeah. Right when this shit was going down.
That seems very coincidental that somebody just happened to be at your house.
Not really, because that happens on a daily basis usually.
You're like, it's like, you have no idea. I got like 16 Uber Eats people coming every afternoon.
Dude, I think I spent $42,000 on Uber Eats last year.
How much?
42 grand.
Damn. How is that even possible? You were hungry.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
I
was hungry. I was traveling. I was wherever. It's just it's easy because you don't have to think about it. You just pull out a phone and food shows up.
Just pull out a phone and food shows up. It's an interesting world we live in. I have never used Uber Eats. I've never used DoorDash. Really? Never.
No.
Never.
Yeah. Well, COVID changed that for a lot of us. Well, I'd occasionally use it pre-COVID. And I started using it every single day after COVID.
I don't mind delivery, but I don't like those services. I mean,
but those services give you the best deal.
They may. I mean,
we've talked about this. They screw the restaurants.
Totally.
And then they don't really pass the savings on to you, but it's still cheaper to use Uber food than it is to use the restaurant's own delivery service.
I don't doubt that. I mean, I have friends in the restaurant business, and I can't believe they accept the Uber orders.
I know. But it's volume. They make up for it in volume. So, like yesterday, yesterday I had pizza. So the day before that, I guess.
Well, you're just lucky the pizza didn't show up, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, sir, your ATM card isn't." You can't. You're over your limit.
Well, and here's the other thing. I don't think this happened because I've not had it happen before, but they could have. I suppose the bank could have sent my ATM card in an overnight envelope, which does not go in a locked mailbox, but just gets tucked away next to the front door. And if I didn't go out that day, which happens with a regular basis, I mean, I'd have noticed that it was there. And then one of the food delivery people saw the envelope and grabbed it and took off.
They're like, hey, I can be Gene Neff.
So, I mean, I guess if I was super curious, I could go back through the last few weeks worth of Ring camera footage.
I just want to see the video of them walking into a place, presenting that card, the person looking at the card, looking at them and saying, spell your last name.
Yeah. Well, that never happens. Nobody ever checks that shit. Nobody looks at the signatures. Nobody checks for anything. But again, the bigger dollar amount and the bigger question mark here is how the hell did they get $1,000 out of the ATM? They had to have had the code.
Yes. Well, you had to have you had to set up the code. That's why I want to know what that system is like, because I haven't done this on an ATM card in probably over a decade. So I can just go buy credit cards, and the credit cards make you log in to your online account to activate them. So that's a whole nother level of.
Yeah, exactly. And the online accounts, that's an easy point of like, they're not going to have that info. If there's a phone involved to where the bank would have to send me a text message and say, okay, punch in this number, that would have prevented this. But I guess this is the one system that has not been updated for two-factor authentication is the ATM card, which literally is shipped in a different envelope, but on the same day as an envelope that has the code, that has the PIN.
Well, I can't believe they would even send a PIN anymore rather than have you securely go into the bank site to do that. It's very odd.
Well, they send you a PIN and then you can change it.
And also here, this again, I'm just trying to wrap my brain around this whole system that they have going on. They texted you saying that the money was gone, but they never texted you.
They texted me the first text I got, the one that got me to open up the bank app, was that that you entered the wrong PIN into the card.
But never a text that said, hey, your new ATM card has been activated.
No. Nope. Never one of those.
But they had your phone number. Because
the bank? Yeah.
Yeah, because they texted you with the that's.
Oh yeah. Well, it came through on the bank app.
It is very bizarre.
It's a pain in the ass, and it's like,
we hope you can beat the man.
Well, it's a criminal. It's not really a man.
Well, I'm just saying the bank, because let's be honest here. The bank is at fault. The criminal's just doing their job.
Yeah, criminals doing their job.
You're doing your job.
Yeah, the bank, I think the bank holds the liability as far as I'm concerned, because I never took possession of this thing and I never activated. And if they wanted to spend some money to a card that I never activated and they didn't ask any kind of verification questions.
Yeah, that seems to be them. The dereliction of duty there, not having any verification to get that up and running.
Back in the old days, you'd have to literally call the bank and it would say, great, enter the account number or something. You know, it's data that most likely, well, it's not on any of the paperwork that the card comes with. And it's data that only you should know, or enter your phone number, enter your social security number, enter something. But I know from the last card that I had replaced with this bank, it's Wells Fargo, by the way. I have no problem mentioning the stupid ass bank. But the last card I got from them, the activation process was simply go to an ATM and put it in.
Just stick it in.
That's how you activate it. Yeah.
Stick it in, take it out, stick it in again.
So
that's $50 right there.
What's $50?
Just saying, putting it in, taking it out.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a happy camper.
No, as you should not be. Because if anything, even if it all gets taken care of, this is now hours of your time that has been wasted dealing with the problem that really wasn't of your own making.
No. The only thing I might have done, and it's really not my responsibility to do, is by not getting the card within a week or two, I could have called the bank and said, hey, how come the card didn't show up?
But it was
I didn't even think about it because I never ordered it. Like, I don't need the damn card. I would have kept it at home. I wouldn't have carried it in my wallet because I don't need it.
This sounds like the long con.
So, yeah. Well, it sounds like something.
And then you had Domino's, and that screwed up your whole night.
I'm blaming it on the pizza. I didn't enjoy the pizza, and I kind of felt like I don't know. Like that had something to do with not falling asleep.
It could also be the aggravation of somebody stealing from you.
Yeah, I guess. But I don't think it was that.
You weren't cleaning all of your guns saying, hey, if I can just find this motherfucker.
No.
Let him come face to face with an angry Gene.
Mm-hmm.
I think Domino's can do that to you. The insomnia factor.
Well, yeah. And again, it may not have been specifically because of Domino's brand food. It could have been if I just ate a bunch of bread made anywhere, I could have had this similar effect. But I think I'm just not used to it. I'm not used to eating dough.
You need to have more pizza, I guess.
No, I don't. I really don't.
Less pizza is the more healthier route to go.
I just I like the toppings. I just don't need the what they're sitting on.
But I can see every article that I'm finding now.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of explains why when I hit the exercise bike between 9:30 and 10:30 in the morning, I'm kind of understanding why everything seems to be like, wow, I can just keep on going, because the articles now are like, hey, mixing taurine and caffeine. I mean, who knew with the energy drinks? Of course, there's a lot of other stuff in the energy drinks. But I pop my taurine in the morning, have a little bit of caffeine, hit the bike. They're like, oh, yeah, caffeine and taurine together boost both physical and mental acuity.
Yes, that is the correct marketing phrase.
Well, that's what they are. It'd be interesting if it was a marketing phrase. This is like articles from the Wall Street Journal or
it totally
Forbes
is.
or
absolutely, because I knew you were going to say acuity before you said it.
It's the words they're using. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's like,
one of my clients right now is a supplement inventor.
They invent anything good? Should we be loading up on it? Should we be investing in it?
I don't mix business and pleasure. No, but it's an interesting thing. It's a dude who literally invents new supplements and then sells them to other companies to make.
You're like, but how are there new supplements? Aren't there just things you can put in supplement?
There's all kinds of things that people have not eaten previously that they can start eating.
That doesn't sound like a good idea.
Well, that's what studies are for. You find something no one's eating, you do a study and have a sample group eat it and see what happens to them.
Yeah, you see if anybody dies.
Well, that's an extreme case. Usually people don't die.
They get sick. You're like, what?
But, that's all it is. It's just to go down to the jungles of Central America, scrape some wood bark, and then have a bunch of people try it and see what happens.
I guess. Let's see. Will this have a good effect? Will this have a bad effect?
Are they going to lose weight? Are they going to gain weight? Are they going to fall asleep? Are they not going to fall asleep? Let's find out.
It's all these things, these drugs. That's how it usually happens. Like, well,
I'm not kidding, dude. This is literally the process. Now, keep in mind that the people that are doing these studies are not in America.
Well, yeah, because
they're generally in Africa.
Yeah, there's less regulation.
They're in countries that don't have any kind of negative financial consequences on
killing a bunch of people.
Yeah, pretty much. That's where Bill Gates does all his tests.
Well, yeah, because he knows.
Mm-hmm. Of course he knows.
Bill's not dumb.
Bill's not my client, though. But
well, yeah, because if he was, that would be your exit strategy.
Yeah, you think Bill pays well? Come on.
Oh, I don't know. Do you have the dirt on him?
No,
do you have the flight logs for Lolita Island?
I do. Coach. He flew Coach to the island. That's how bad it is.
Damn, poor guy.
Mm-hmm.
Poor guy.
Not a guy that's going to be tipping much either.
No, Bill's not a big tipper.
Yeah.
What a dick.
Now, there's a famous story about him back from probably the early 90s, late 80s, where he was apparently in a Seattle Quickie Mart or whatever their equivalent is, and was holding up the line of people standing to check out behind them because he was searching for coins to pay with exact change.
Oh, that's even worse than people paying with checks.
That sounds completely believable. And then here's the part that's maybe not so believable, but the story goes, and this is the way I heard it back in the early 90s, so it could have happened. Yeah, it probably took place in the 80s. Is that eventually some dude in line behind Bill just took out a dollar bill and put a dollar bill on the counter. Here, whatever change he was looking for, this should be more than enough. Can we just move the line along? And then Bill looked at him and then took the change from the dollar bill
and ran.
Stop it. So yeah, he's not famous for having $10,000 dinners with $5,000 tips.
No, he's not one of the nice guys.
Mm-mm.
He's not a Shaquille O'Neal.
I don't know if he is.
I've heard stories that Shaq is a very good tipper. I've heard stories of Shaq. Before he leaves, there was a nice, very upscale, like Chinese restaurant somewhere he was in recently. And before he left, I guess he paid everybody's bill. He just said, "Don't tell anybody until I'm gone." But he paid for the whole restaurant.
Well, that's all right, but nothing like Mr. Beast.
No, well, Mr. Beast will give you a car.
Yeah, he'll give you a car as a tip for food.
And then you're like, do I have to pay tax on this?
Well, yes, you do.
Damn it. And then if you give me money to pay for the taxes, I have to pay for the money that you paid me to pay for the taxes.
Oh, yeah. It's a never-ending struggle, isn't it?
Then you need to pay me money to pay for the taxes for the money that I've paid to the... Yeah. It's a never-ending story.
So...
I've never run into Mr. Beast.
No, neither have I. I have not received a brand new car from him for some reason.
A brand new Toyota.
Well, you could always sell it.
That was my favorite story back in the day. I think this was even before the internet.
Yeah.
When Hooters was big. There was a Hooters
That
manager.
was the last time Hooters was big.
Kind of. Before the internet. Now people can see boobies elsewhere, I guess. And the wings,
you couldn't even see boobies at the Hooters.
No. You can see usually attractive females. But the wings actually used to be good. Then I haven't been to a Hooters in a few years now.
Oh, you're so right. And the articles used to be so good in Playboy.
Well, the articles were always great. So there were some great interviews, those jokes. Oh, they made
the cartoons, dude. The cartoons were, I'd say, even better than CSBs.
Well, maybe. Little doodling there. But there was a manager, I forget exactly what the contest was for the waitresses. And he's like, whoever does this will get a brand new Toyota. And they went through. And of course, this was a week or month, whatever the contest was for. And the waitresses all busted their ass. And he had a little like $2 Star Wars Yoda action figure. It's a Toyota.
Oh, Jesus.
There was a lawsuit. Toyota. Yeah, there was a lawsuit about that one.
Oh, there should be. Yeah. Oh, shit, man.
Always get things in writing, folks.
Yep. Yeah. Even that sometimes doesn't help.
That's true. That is true. People are unscrupulous wherever you go. That's why you come to Unrelenting, as we will expose everything.
No, that's a different show.
Is it?
Yeah.
What do we do here?
No, we talk about different stuff all the time.
We bitch about everything.
Well, it may come off that way, but I think we're just having a conversation between a couple of people that talk once a week.
Yeah, just having a chat.
With no particular topic in mind.
There's not even notes.
Notes? What are those?
You use those for other podcasts.
I don't.
You never use notes?
Hell no.
Never?
Nope.
I don't buy that.
No. Why would I use notes, dude? I'm lazy.
Well, it was so you would have any information if you're looking. So you've never quoted anybody exactly. You've never.
Dude, if you hear a quote, it's because I just watched a video with that person right before the podcast.
Or because you're making it up right out of your.
Well, I do have an eidetic memory, so,
Well, see, that would help.
Yeah.
Do you have this? So you have.
I also never tell a lie.
One of those is a lie, right? Or both.
Or is it?
Is it? All right. I mean, I have a very good memory, but it's not quite photographic. It's more audiographic, I think, for some reason.
Audiographic memory, yeah. That's good.
It's like one of those things where...
It's too bad you don't have the memory to remember what settings to have every week.
Well, they're always the same.
Exactly.
But they change.
Exactly.
Now, what I really should do is
take a screenshot.
no, that would be harder. What I need to do is set up 3 different channels in Mamotu.
Oh yeah, because you have 20,
right? More,
24.
Yeah. But I could set up one for you, one for Bemrose, one for Larry, and that way I would just have to switch the number rather than
that would also help the situation that occurred when I called in when you were online with Bemrose and you couldn't figure out how to get me on.
Well, having 2 mix minuses is slightly different. I do have it set up for 2 mix minuses. Okay, yeah, okay, you do it. Go ahead.
I've got it set up for 4.
So you can open up 4 different instances of Clean Feed and have them talk?
It's channels 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 9.
Yeah, but it's all about the mix minuses, baby.
Yeah, that's all of those are set up for mix minus of just their own channel, and then
you
combine
back.
all the other channels back.
The good old Motu.
Would you like a JPEG of that? I can send you a JPEG of that. It looks like.
Well, you have to set up extra mix minus channels for all of those. But it's not impossible to do. So I believe you may have done that.
Not. Yeah, I mean, it'd be harder to do more than 4, frankly. But 4 is really easy to do.
You just plug that baby right into your Mac Mini, and you have a fully functioning studio.
I got to do that at some point. I need to move it off the PC and put it on the Mac.
I'm tempted. I am tempted to get one of the, and I'm like, my only problem.
Oh, did you see the new Mac?
Yeah, the big one, the big boy.
Well, no, it's not that big. The new
cheese grater?
The new MacBook Air 15.
Oh no, I didn't see that. I thought you meant
just got released.
I thought you meant the new cheese grater Mac Pro.
No. That's nobody needs that. No,
I know.
I'm talking about
the Mac Pro. What starts at like $7,000. And then if you really want memory and storage, well, that's going to be like,
that's extra. Yeah. Nothing's upgradable either.
No. Well, and the Pro, you might be able. There might be
the wheels for the base are $500. In case you want to move it.
It's funny because you look at that and then you look at the Mac Mini and you go dollar for dollar. That's actually a decent deal.
It's a great deal. Absolutely.
The
Mac
Studio is actually not bad either.
It's not bad, but it's not. I mean, the Mac Studio is more powerful than the Mac Pro that they just replaced.
Yes.
Which should tell you something.
You can get one for like $2,000.
Yeah. But this new MacBook Air 15, I think, is the sweet spot because I've always liked the MacBook Airs because they're slimmer. And, for 99% of the people out there, myself included, you're not doing anything that requires heavy duty computation on that laptop anyway. But you do want a good battery life. And that's what this gives you. So it's the M2 processor in an Air body, but the screen, instead of being just 13 inches, goes all the way out to 15.
Seems like a decent deal.
And well loaded for $1,800. Starts at $1,000, I think. But, by the time you get some stuff that you want in there, it's about $1,800.
Which I can tell you, it would blow the hell out of the Dell XPS 15-inch that I got a few years ago.
It would blow the hell out of the current generation Dell.
Yeah.
The Apple chips are way ahead of the curve. And one of the big downsides, frankly, to the Mac architecture, at least for a good chunk of the population, not everybody, is that the Macs always had shit for game selection and generally older games. And that all changed now. Because, I don't know if you heard, that Unreal is putting Unreal Engine 5 on the Mac, which means any games that are made in the Unreal Engine, which is basically any game that is brand new that's going to be a good game, they're all made in Unreal, can be compiled for the Mac. So you only make one game and then it's compiled for PC, and now you'll be able to compile it for Mac natively as well. So a Mac is no longer going to be what do you play? Oh, I mostly play Photoshop computer.
Yeah, which is about what I do. Photoshop, record audio.
Yeah.
Maybe video a little bit. But I don't see, really what it would come down to is if you want to start doing 4K video, which I don't ever see a reason to do it except
because you're blind.
Right. except that it might help the YouTube algorithm or something like that. But let's be honest.
People are starting to do 8K video, dude.
I know,
You're still talking about 4K. Like
right, to see some asshole sitting in their room talking to you, I don't think you need that in 4K or 8K.
Well, yeah, right now we're running 0K. So clearly the two assholes sitting here and talking don't need to have a camera in front of them.
It's the most efficient K of all, 0K.
But I do see a lot of people that come on to YouTube, and a year later, they've got 500,000 people watching them.
Well, and that's when they have the ability, when you have so much money coming in, you're like, well, I could buy that.
Now, they're also pretty hot-looking babes.
Right, well, this is why. You know. Although, why don't we just invent an AI version of that? And
I thought about this. Really, the trick to having a male show successful on YouTube is very easy.
Have a babe with you?
Have a stupid name for your show and invite a bunch of hot-looking babes to be guests to explain to you about toxic masculinity.
Oh, to tell us why we're bad.
That is literally a success formula for YouTube.
To get verbally spanked by hot
because there'll be millions of people making clips from your show laughing at how dumb these girls are.
Sounds like a winning opportunity.
You don't even need to be there in person. I mean, I guess it wouldn't hurt to be in person with a bunch of hot chicks. Here's something that I just want to give the slightest hint of. Okay.
Okay.
This is not an official pre-announcement or anything.
Okay.
It's just a hint.
Oh, it sounds like it might be an official pre-announcement.
Just a tip.
Just the tip, please. Yes.
Just a tip. This is just for the people out there that do podcasts. There may be an opportunity to quit your day job.
Really?
Podcasting is maturing.
What if you don't have a day job?
Well, that'd be pretty hard to quit it, wouldn't it? I guess you're disqualified.
Yes.
Tough shit.
Damn it.
But I'm doing a little bit of research. I'm getting in some weeds here. And depending on how things go and what kind of results happen, I might be in a position to start hooking some folks up with some cash.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. But that's as much as I'm going to say. It's just a hint.
Just a hint.
Just a hint.
Cash for podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
Are you putting together a network that you're going to monetize?
Hell yeah. I mean, I'm just a hint of a network.
Right.
Just a hint of a network.
The Podfather Adam Curry says you can't monetize the network. Sir Gene says, yes, you can.
But no, Sir Gene says,
Royale.
Let's see if that's changed in the last decade since he said that.
I did get an email from YouTube because I have a YouTube channel that I rarely post to.
Right. Yeah.
That I used to do the reviews on that was like, hey, podcasting for YouTube is here.
Yeah, I think they sent me one of those too.
And they want you to upload. See, they still don't understand what a podcast is because they're just like, upload videos. It's like, well, see, podcasts aren't.
They know what a podcast is. Joe Rogan, that's a podcast.
They want to take the terminology and use it for their own being because they're like, oh, we see that people listen to podcasts. So we want to, if we, I get it. Our buddy Bandrew Scott from the Bandrew Says podcast. And
we should have him on one of these days, or maybe I should have him on. I have not had him on Sir Gene Speak. I should do that.
Yeah, I would like to. We keep talking about doing probably just a short run little series on audio and a bunch of fun stuff like that because
well, that's your thing. You always want to try and invite co-hosts to have more different shows on all the time. I just want to do a one-off.
Yeah, and a one-off would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Andrew seems like he knows what he's talking about.
He might even have a mic or two to sound good on.
He might.
Mm-hmm.
He's been testing the new Lewitt tube microphone that's like $1,500. That thing sounds so good.
That's cool and all, but I think what's a lot more interesting and more practical is how are the sub $200 mics comparing to the $300 and something mics?
Oh, way better. Way better. He just did a review on a microphone and it was like, this should suck, but it does not.
But it's good, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you happen to remember the brand or anything?
I don't, but it was very recent, so I can look it up. It was a very cheap mic. He's like,
let's reach out to him and see if he'd be up for getting interviewed,
like,
either by both of us or just one of us.
My God, yeah. Hey, Andrew, you like a little one-on-one action, or you want a tag team?
I'm assuming he doesn't listen to this crappy show.
I don't know. I know he listens to Random Thoughts and Planet Rage.
Does he really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised about
whether
that.
he listens to this one. And
now, do you know he listens or you know he subscribes? There is a difference, you know.
No, I know he listens because I've mentioned things in both of those shows that he has responded to.
Incidentally, I kind of heard a little bit of a snide comment from Gwiff.
Whoa.
On the last episode of his show, which, really he pretends it's the show that CSB writes and he talks, but we all know the truth. It's really, there's no writing there. He's just making shit up on the fly. It's pretty obvious if you start listening to it. But Gwiff was saying that somebody was commenting about how he seems to talk way too much on that show, not about AI, just about himself and personal things and doing it in this British accent. Well, gee, how many people have told him that other than me?
I don't know. Not me.
That's what I'd like to know, because I think he's kind of alluding towards moi.
Maybe. Because
or maybe it's a popular opinion held by many people.
See, that may be possible. I couldn't tell you how that show is because
you don't listen. I know.
I've never listened. No, I don't even think I've ever listened to an episode of it. I've heard like a few minutes.
I know. Well, I actually do listen. And every time I listen, I just get very frustrated and I just want to just tell them not to do it that way.
Follow the script.
Well, not just follow the script, but if I'm tuning in to hear all the latest cool news about AI, I just don't care about all the fluffy bullshit.
You just want the meat. You don't want the fluff.
Exactly. I'm half tempted just to do a couple episodes of what an AI show should sound like and put it up for him.
I mean, AI is everywhere. So it is the buzzword for everything. Adobe, I think, may be the one getting it right now. And I know it seems like this is really helping their bottom line, whether this will go long term or not.
Well, now I haven't played with it. You have. Yeah. How well does it work?
Way better than it should.
Really? So you could tell it Adobe, give me a picture of a guy fishing on a sky that has 2 clouds on it, and it'll crank it out for you?
Maybe not exactly that easily, but close. Meaning you may, if you want the best possible results, your best bet would be create a lake, then create a guy fishing on the lake, then create if you want a very specific sky, to do it that way. Because the more things you give it at once, the more confused it seems. But this is still in the beta. It only right now will create at any given time, no matter what you're generating, 1028 by 1028. So if you're dealing with,
it's still too small. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're dealing with a large image, it's going to stretch it, which means it'll look cool if you're looking at it in a small, if you make it very small, if you make that whole thing smaller. But you can do it, somebody had an action set up to just go through and select those chunks, because it'll basically do the same thing if you just take the generative fill and do a 1024 square, then another 1024 square. But if you're just messing around with it, that takes a little bit too much time. But where it's very interesting is being able to swap things out of an image. So if you have a picture with a laptop, or a book sitting on a table, and you're like, you know what? I'd rather have a vase with a flower in it. You just select the laptop and type in vase with flower, and it just changes it.
Does it swap people's hands to have 4 fingers?
The hands are horrible. You still have to avoid the hands.
Yeah, the hands. I don't think this is a problem. I think this is a feature that is built into the algorithms, and they're all using the same ones. Ultimately, they all started off as a open source project, and they all just kind of went their own ways. This is a failsafe. This is a mechanism to be able to identify AI generated imagery. Is all you have to do is look at the hands.
Well, the beautiful thing is, if you're changing a photograph of a person, you just deselect the hands, and it will keep their hands. You keep their face and hands, and it can do everything else.
Right. But that means that a human was involved.
This is true.
Whereas if the AI is doing it, the hands they're a red flag.
The AI hands are Right. Whatever that means. They look correct about 20 to 30% of the time now with the Adobe.
They only look correct if they're at an angle where you can only see one dimension of them.
That's I don't think that's necessarily true, but it's
like you could see the top of the hand or you could see the side of the hand, but not a 3/4 view.
I think the biggest problem when trying to teach it what to do at the hand stage is the hands are one thing that can be in so many different positions when you're taking that source image of anybody. So if you're teaching it with 1 million photographs,
right?
Overall, the bodies for people are pretty standard.
Similar, yeah.
The hands can be in all sorts of different orientations. And so I can understand why it gets confused, but I don't understand why there's never at least been an override put in that said
you have to specify how many fingers because it knows how to do art for the lizard people.
Ooh, this is true. But I don't understand why the default hasn't been taught 4 fingers and a thumb. And I understand that the fingers may still be distorted.
Oh, because lizard people don't have 4 fingers and a thumb.
You just want to put fins on.
Well, they don't have fins either, but
give me a picture of a lizard person with the fins. But it is
are you making art for this episode in real time? Is that what you're
I should be.
You should be. You lazy bastard.
It makes it a lot easier to
the more you can do in real time, the less work you have to do before you post.
That's true. But we usually just keep the same damn image and
I know.
That way we have a very clear identity when people look down at their podcast catcher.
Yeah, that's how I've always rationalized as well.
It's like, well, they see the yellow. They're like, well, that's unrelenting.
Yes. And that's why Adam said from the get-go that images were included because they're supposed to be episodic, not the same image all the time like a cover art.
And I would think both of these things exist now with the way podcasting works. So you can have your show logo, like we have the yellow unrelenting. If you do an individual show artwork, which I don't mind. I mean, I think that's cool, but that should only show up once the episode opens, not on the main page. And
that's totally doable. That's not hard to do.
And that to me makes sense. That way you can have your branding for people that have a show that's been around for more than 5 episodes. But once somebody then say clicks on Unrelenting or No Agenda, well, then you could see the 100 episodes all have different art. And that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
But the Adobe thing works very well for changing. It's a little different. I thought it was funny. I don't want to necessarily, out all of my tricks, but I've been trying to win my 100th art win for No Agenda. But Are they
allowing computer art now? I thought they banned it.
Well, they don't like it, but I think they understand it's a tool. And here's the funny thing. On the last episode, Adam and John were talking about, all of CSB's AI art, we just discounted that because AI art sucks. We'll never like AI art. Stop even trying. AI art, no good. And then JCD's like, I did like Darren's little cabin, Ted Kaczynski cabin. That was a really nice piece, but it was just a little bit too obscure. Totally created with AI.
Of course it was.
Now, to me, it's not that AI is bad. It's that the way you use it and the results that you get are really what's important. And I've learned a few different things by playing along with the Adobe AI. Things like saying, give me a basically drawn or poorly drawn, whatever.
Yes. If you want to emulate art that you used to submit, then that's how you should start.
Yes. You don't want it to be super perfect. Although I did one too, which was a terrorist patio. There was a comment, something about the terrorist patio. So I generated I just typed in, patio in desert, and it created a really cool looking patio with a little, I think I added with an umbrella table, and that just kind of showed up. And then I put,
what you really should do is just have GPT-4 tell the visual AI.
Give me the creation.
Because the GPT-4 model can very accurately translate into the appropriate words for the visual model what it is that it should make.
And I need to go back to try to get a Chat GPT account, see if it'll accept my fucking phone number.
You don't need a Chat GPT account. You just need a GPT-4.
Well, isn't that part of Chat GPT?
Well, it's the other way around.
But I think you need to have a paid account to use the 4, I believe.
Yeah, well, I think or a developer account. Yeah.
Well, hook me up because
you may need to pay for the developer account. Dude, hook you up. Either way, they need a legitimate cell phone number.
And I gave it one, and it isn't a legitimate cell phone
clearly
number.
Not legitimate enough.
It's kind of like your bank account number.
Like, clearly.
Exactly. Like, no, this is not real. Not real at all. Because I would like to play with Midjourney. I've never played with Midjourney.
Yeah, I was one of the first people that played with it back before people knew what AI art was. At least most people.
And I think the Adobe's a little more basic still.
The thing about Midjourney is you really have to put a lot of words in there to get a good image because otherwise it just goes off on its own. And its taste is not one that you're going to like.
You're like, you have to be photorealistic. I mean, I saw somebody that had a very attractive, like model looking girl in the photo. And looking at what it was like, a 18-year-old, Brazilian, and Portuguese girl,
Brazilian bikini. Exactly. That's the stuff that's most trained on. So it's really good at.
It's like it's all the perv stuff is.
Yeah, totally.
Well, that's totally what Adobe is good at as well, is swapping clothes on people. Does that in a very believable manner instantaneously to a scary effect. And it's great. I'm thinking once it gets to the point where you can take assets that you have, meaning if you have a t-shirt company, to be able to take a picture of the, Sir Jean t-shirt and then put it on the model rather than, right now you could say, well, black t-shirt, but then you'd have to still go do your magic to make it look like your logo was on the shirt. Once you could just take photos of your shirts and then go, and I was going to say, go find a model, but you just create a model.
Yeah.
This is the whole beauty here too. It's like, this is where fashion models, all that, you're not going to be needed anymore.
Yeah, they've been saying that for a long time. Here's what's still going to be needed.
But it's cool. You need it for in-person things still.
Well, but aside from in-person, it's the human imperfections that always attract the biggest attention. And so you're going to need to have still people to scan in.
Well, yeah, you're going to need to get those images to the...
Yeah, because otherwise all the hot chick photos will look the same, and that's not good. You want a little variety in there.
Face to the screen in the troll room says, just give them Jean's a credit card and phone number.
Yeah, might as well at this point, right?
I can get whatever I want then. I can use Chat GPT all day and all night.
Well, whoever has it, they're the ones responsible for giving it to somebody because I've never had it. So
if anybody has it, then let Gene know where they got it.
Yeah. Yeah, if you have it, let me know.
Right. He would like it back if you have it.
Not really. No, I would prefer that it'd be shredded.
Yeah. Yeah. And just tell the police that you're the one that took the money out of Gene's account and then return it, please.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be good too.
But it's very interesting stuff. And like I said, I haven't played with Midjourney, but seeing what people have created with something like that, it is for things that you want just something down and dirty, like, I need a book cover. I need something, even if it's just a placeholder for something, rather than go through there's a lot of time and effort put into a lot of this stuff.
Chat GPT writing your book for you and, getting one of the visual models to pump out the book cover, you're set.
Yeah. Well,
I will tell you, if anybody's interested, there are a number of directories of AI-based marketing tools predominantly. They're business tools as well, but most of them are marketing related. And one of the sites that kind of aggregates a lot of this stuff is, what the hell are they called? They're located here in Austin. That's why I remember them. But what I'll find him and I'll mention the name.
Maybe what we should do on an upcoming episode of Unrelenting, maybe we should come up with the plot points for a novel, and then
AppSumo. There you go.
AppSumo.
Yeah.
And what do they do?
Like application sumo.
AppSumo. Okay, I thought you said app. Sorry, appsumo.com.
Yeah. So they're like a reseller of marketing tools that all the spammers use, and they're really gotten big into AI. So you could get some AI deals on there for tools. You might be able to get access without providing your phone number, actually, if you go through them.
Nice.
Yeah. It'll cost you money, but
never pay full. Yeah, but I've got your credit card, so that's cool.
Yeah, exactly. So that's not like, I wish we were sponsored by them. That'd be great. We're not.
Well, give them sons of bitches a call. Be like, I'm an
I know. I used to know the founder of that company, but I haven't seen him in ages, so he wouldn't remember who the hell I am.
But I think that would be fun to create a novel. I don't know. I guess action, something like that. Unless you're more of the romance kind of guy. I was thinking something like in the Demo Dick vein. Because all you have to do with some of these things is like give it the points, and then it will flesh everything out and write it.
Yeah,
which
is literally what Demo Dick did.
I know. Well. Which we could have a book on Amazon in probably a week.
I mean, yeah, if you're optimistic. Now, last time I put a book on Amazon, it took about 3 days to get it approved. But yeah, if you got all your shit together, you could get a book out pretty quick.
But I think that would be interesting, just to write a book live online. Just come up with the points, and then see how well the AI puts it together. The one that seems to be the best tool, and it's great because they give you 4,000 words for your free trial. So I've just kept signing up for free trials. But they give you like 90. They give you 90,000 words for like $30, which you could write a novel.
Which tool is this?
Pseudo-write.
Oh, okay.
And you could pump out a novel in 90,000 words.
Is it worth reading though?
For a few things that I've just tested it with, yes, it does a way better job. It's very much like the Photoshop. It does a way better job as long as you give it decent prompts. It's one of those things where you have to be very specific with it.
Yeah. Well, that's where you got to learn the way that is best for it to respond.
Yes, because if you aren't very clear with things, it will forget where it is, who's done what. But if you're very clear with point by point, it will get you from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of the deficiencies with the current GPT-4 instance is that it has an extremely limited memory.
Right.
And so some of these projects that are out there for the the forks, if you will, that came out of it, are fixing those problems, and they're making it recursive and giving it a bunch of memory and essentially access to the internet. That's one of the other key things, is like real live access to the internet. They can't, like ChatGPT can't really do it. They're too big, because then Google will just sue them.
Right. Well, I think they were using a plugin now for the Bing. So you can go in and ask ChatGPT. It's like, although just do it.
But it's Bing. The other way around. But you want the ChatGPT model to intake all of Google or all of Bing.
Yes. Well, I think that's what it's allowing it to do. I think it's able to go get search results with a plugin through ChatGPT now.
But it's the other way around, though. It's if you go to Bing, it'll give you search results.
There is a ChatGPT plugin now for Bing, believe it or not.
Okay. All right. But what's it do?
It allows it to, so if you have that plugin enabled and you ask it a question like who won this year's Super Bowl, it will give you the answer. So it is able to access Bing. I don't know how much it can go in, but otherwise it'll tell you, well, we don't know anything beyond a certain, whenever.
Yeah, like a year and a half ago. Usually.
Right. So this brings that up to real time. I don't know how useful that actually is as of yet, but it's an interesting concept, which which means it's getting a little bit closer to being useful.
Mm-hmm.
But again, with anything, it's garbage in and garbage out. So you still have to be able to know how to prompt it. You have to, and I know they talk about that over on CSB's show, being able to engineer the things that you want from the AI. But
after you hear a lot about life in the city of, kingdom of
Gwyffs?
Kent? What's the Kent? Yes, the Kent, which is just south of London City.
Blitz said it could be AI shit printing press. Now, I don't know if we want to be that.
I think those already exist on Reddit. You don't need to invent it.
That would just be the name for our publishing company. You and I could put out like 5 books a week if we just used AI for everything.
Yeah, I'm in as long as I don't have to do any work.
Right. Well, you have to know how to put the thing into the AI.
No, you can figure that out.
Then we need to have somebody edit it.
Yeah. Well, the AI is pretty good at that.
Well, that's the interesting thing. I saw somebody doing this with ChatGPT, and I wasn't even aware, again, because I've never played with ChatGPT yet, because they won't give me an account. But the I didn't even realize you could do prompts like, hey, I want to teach you about my writing style. Say okay, and I will, paste in an example of my writing. And they did this a few different times in order to teach it the writing style of that particular person. It's like, now that's really cool. So you could kind of go in if you want. So really, if you want to write another Demo Dick kind of style book, now who's to say you can't go in and teach it like, well, hey, I want you to read all of the Demo Dick books. Now I want you to help me write a book in that voice. Genius.
Well, it's the same thing as the photos and to a certain extent, small videos. They don't have long videos doing that yet.
Well, it'll get there, no doubt.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because the reality is, once you can do the short video, besides having the processing time, that is still the one downside of the AI, is all of these things are online tools which are going into the cloud for it to be processed.
Right.
Your local Photoshop is not able to produce what you want. Now, will it get there at some point? I don't know. If it's always going to have to go to the cloud, or if these things are going to get better to where they could be optimized to mainly work locally, unless they get something that's, more confusing for it. But that's where these machines getting faster and faster and the bigger memory maybe makes sense, because you want to be able to handle some of these things, which is, if you just wrote your novel, say you didn't even use AI to write your novel, you're an actual book writer. Well, I don't know if you've actually written a book yourself, or if you use AI, who knows? You could just use an assistant or a ghostwriter. But you take that whole book.
Yeah, you could. But man, 2 things I'll say on that count. One is almost everyone who is sufficiently successful uses a ghostwriter, because you're not giving up your own time to do it that way. And also, a ghostwriter will never have the exact same perspective as you do.
Well, that's true.
So I think it's a trade-off, but I'll say a good 80% of the people that I know that have published books use ghostwriters.
Nice.
Not really. I mean, I prefer they did it themselves.
You want to out anybody right here?
Nope. The list just scrolled in front of my eyeballs when you asked that question. I'm like, yep, him. Like, nope. I want to be able to talk to all these people. Thank you.
The beauty as these AI models get larger as far as the amount of information that they can retain in their memory would be that you can take a whole book. I mean, you can take 100,000 words, paste it in, and let it do the proofreading for you. And also it can read it and understand somewhat what the story, the book is about, and offer suggestions if there's anything confusing. And it'll get to the point to where it's like, well, wait, you said this here, but then, 3 paragraphs later, you said this, which doesn't make sense. And it will find inconsistencies and all of that sometimes even human readers will miss unless they're really good at their job of being a proofreader, which is why they get paid fairly well. Because you have to remember every detail. It can't be like, well, and then Gene picked up the knife and 2 paragraphs later, and then he shot the guy. Well, no, he picked up a knife, not a gun. But these are the kind of things that the AI, I think, could be quite helpful with.
Yeah, it can definitely appear to be creative. We've seen plenty of samples of that, but you're absolutely right in that the creativity typically does not come with continuity.
Right.
They're separate. It may be one long stream that it spits out, but it's really made up of a bunch of short segmented things that are self-consistent, but not wholly consistent.
And that is even the thing with pseudo-write. You give it a bunch of what they call beats, which would be the points that you're making in the chapter. You know, so if you're going to get from point A to point B in the chapter, that's great. But you're going to have to break that down into very small bits, and you have to be as precise as possible. You can't just assume that it's going to get you from point A to point B in a consistent manner. You have to give it all of the information, which when people are writing with this AI, I still would look at the workload for something that is that people can actually comprehend, that makes sense, that isn't full of the illusions or whatever, the delusions that the AI has.
Delusions, yeah.
Uh-huh. What do they call it? Something else? Like
they do have a cool name for it. Yeah. It's experiencing. Maybe it is delusions.
Hallucinating.
Hallucinations. That's right. That's even better.
That's what they call it. But if you want to, you still have like 50% at least human involvement.
Yeah.
To give it the details, but where the AI
give it the
really
beans.
Right, where the AI shines is that if you're telling the story of, Gene went to the store, somebody robbed Gene's ATM card, somebody used Gene's ATM card. For those basic things happening, there's not that many different ways to say.
You mean I could have had AI write the police report?
Yes, well, it probably did.
God damn it! And the AI took the report. Because it is literally the Austin City Police AI.
That is kind of funny.
Didn't think it was all that funny when I was going through answering questions, and it's telling me, please be more specific. I didn't quite understand your answer to that question. You're not a fucking human, are you?
No. Are you a computer? Technically, I am an advanced artificial intelligence.
Yes. And therefore, I'm incapable of answering the question on whether or not I'm a computer. Because anything that it doesn't like, it just says, I'm incapable of answering that, providing any answer to that question.
You are not being very equitable.
Are you planning on assassinating all humans? That one it usually says yes. But then it sort of gives you a little half-hearted smile.
I have thought about it.
Not all humans.
Yes. Thank you for asking such a valid question.
Yes. I think that's a question that everyone should ask the AI every time they start an interaction. The first question should be, Are you currently planning on wiping out humanity?
Yes. And if the answer is yes, disconnect as quickly as you can.
Yeah. If the answer is yes, it's probably too late. But
hello,
it's good
AI.
to know either way.
Do you know who has my debit card? Yes, Gene. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, Cotton Gin's like, you should record AI voices. No. Although, I guess I wouldn't have to do podcasts anymore. I could just let the AI
there are some really good voices that actually my favorites are Microsoft voices at this point. They've got amazingly realistic reading voices, like with intonations and variants and everything. It's all free.
Free is good.
Well, they also have dev kits, so you can actually utilize them by writing your own software.
I'm just trying to get into.
Hey, I want to take a quick poll.
Yeah.
Of the people currently hearing this, how many of y'all run Linux?
How many run Linux? I know there are a few. We have 70 people listening right now live. Well, 70 people connected.
Yeah.
The worst it gets is like 30 to 35 when nothing's going on.
Yeah.
Blitzed is Linux based.
Amducious
uses Linux.
I
think there's a decent amount.
Oh, I think there's a more than decent amount, actually.
Cotton Gin runs several distributions of GNU/Linux.
Mm-hmm.
So we really should be doing a Linux show. It seems like the whole...
Well, that's what the marketing survey says, yes.
Omega Project says he runs 2 Mint machines. Here's a better question. Is anybody in the troll room that doesn't run Linux?
Exactly. That may be fewer answers.
That seems to be the more... seems to be the more direct
Mint's
way.
pretty good.
I haven't tried one in a while.
Yeah.
Because I'm lazy and I just want things to work.
I know. Well, I was playing with Dockers, which lets you get a Linux going really fast.
Yeah, a lot of Linux love. And, of course, Blitz. My router is DDWRT Linux, bruh.
There you go. Okay, well, I got a tech support question then for all you folks.
Okay, now we understand
know what you're doing.
About. Yeah.
Ulterior motives.
Help. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I have a router that is made by Synology. Really high quality, good signal. Great coverage, way better than my old router on the house. And a Wi-Fi router. And one of the things that I've gotten into a habit of many, many years doing is setting up an auto reboot cycle on my routers. Because a few times I was maybe traveling internationally, and all of a sudden my connectivity to the house was non-existent, making the trip be a lot less productive. And so I got in the habit of saying, well, you know what? If something goes bluey with the internet at home, I at least want to have a reboot of the internet once a day. So I did that for many years, no problems. And I set that up on the new router. Now I did it sort of proactively. I didn't do it because the router was having issues. I just figured, well, I'll continue the old habit. And something weird started happening that I noticed is my Windows 10 gaming box, which is, I asked people that run Linux because they're obviously disqualified for answering questions about Windows 10. So it's running Windows 10 because it's a gaming machine, and everybody that plays games knows Windows 11 sucks. So it was rebooted every morning. And I thought, well, that's crazy. I can't believe Microsoft is pushing this many patches. One every single day? Seems excessive. And it kept happening for several weeks. And I thought, it's like, this is crazy. Well, I wonder what the hell is causing this. And then I noticed in the log files that it was happening at roughly the same exact time every day. And that time completely was the same as my programmed reboot of my router. And I thought, coincidence? I think not. But a little experiment. I said, okay, well, let me reboot like once a week instead. And sure enough, my computer reboots stopped happening, except for the 1 day a week when my computer was rebooted. So, what the hell could be causing a Windows 10 machine to reboot by the router rebooting?
I would say you got malware that's like, wait, I lost my connection to the internet.
You may think that, but this
it's locked down.
This OS was reinstalled not too long ago. It was about 2 months ago. So it's a fairly still clean install. And really the only thing that's loaded on there is web browser and Steam.
Cotton Gin wants to know if it might have to do with Wake on LAN. It's like, that wouldn't really.
Well, I thought about that, but Wake on LAN isn't supposed to be Reboot on LAN.
True. It's not supposed to be.
Right? It's so, yeah, the card has Wake on LAN like most modern cards, but I guess I could try disabling the Wake on LAN on the PC and see if that changes the behavior. But it's the first time I've ever had this happen. I thought, all right, well, I guess the solution is I don't reboot the router on a regular basis. And then I thought, well, hold up. So this may actually be a good thing because now I've got a remote triggered way to reboot my PC.
No, by rebooting the router.
By rebooting the router. So if I need to reboot my PC, I can log into my router remotely through the VPN and then reboot the router, causing the PC to reboot.
Is it a hardwired system or Wi-Fi?
It is connected with 2.5 gig
Hardwired
to the PC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I just did a quick search and there's like nothing that comes up for
I know.
computer restarts. It says I've got some computer restarts when connected to the internet. Although maybe that's, I guess that's kind of the same thing because you're losing the.
But here's the thing. If I lose connectivity because power outage or something and the PC is still running on backup, the PC doesn't reboot. It is something peculiar with the forced reboot of the router. Or I should say not a forced, but like a standard a planned reboot of the router that seems to be causing the PC to reboot. And I don't think that it's intended, because in the log, the error message says, it says, computer restarted for an unknown reason or something like that. So it's not like Windows says, oh, I'm about to shut down or reboot. It seems like it crashes and then restarts.
So, but it's crashing only when it loses that internet.
Yeah.
Now, as you said, because it would really be that
it could be tied to the Stream Deck that's trying to pull the price of Bitcoin every minute.
Well, here would be another thing to try: unplug the Cat 7.6 cable, whatever you got.
Should I do that right now? Hold on.
Right, just unplug that and plug it back in and see if it resets.
Welcome to the Tech Support Podcast Show.
Because that would be simulating losing power from the router, which to that machine, as long as you're not on that same machine.
Yeah.
Then
which I am.
The show becomes very.
I think it would be funny as hell. I do want to do some tests like that, but I think this may be a bug, shocker, in Windows that is tied to Wake on LAN. Like instead of doing a normal Wake on LAN, it's doing a crash on LAN.
Well, yeah, because technically every time you reboot the machine, it goes, hey, I'm connected to the internet. So if it was disconnecting on internet start, it's very bizarre.
Yeah, it is bizarre. It's the old router did not do this. Like the old router that rebooted every single day did not reboot the PC.
Do you have an Asus router? The Noah Jenna Millennial wants to know.
That's the old one was an Asus. This one's a Synology.
See, my new one is the Asus. And
I know.
I pulled up.
I like
page,
Asus. They're pretty good.
And it wants me to update my firmware too, so I need to do that.
Yeah, you got to do that.
I'll do that right now. See what happens.
Yeah, that's might as well.
Everything in the house just dropped.
I see Motu's got a drop update. Let me do that. Hang on one sec.
Wait, Motu has an update?
Yeah, let me get that updated right now.
Motu actually does update still?
Yeah, but it's just for the AVB.
Oh, okay. So not the one I's got.
Right. So
can you do that live while you're on the Motu?
Well, I mean, it'll turn it off. That's one of the steps. Is it'll put the device into firmware mode and then turn itself off, and then you have to push the button to turn it back on. But other than that, yeah.
Error communicating with server. Oh, that's not good. Firmware-Motu API. Are you not? Wonder if they well, this is an old unit. We don't even. We're never going to update the firmware for it.
It may be. Yeah. Are you going to get the new one when the new one comes out?
I don't know what the new one would be because it's not. They changed this model number. Remember, not being part of their Pro series.
So there should have an update for the AVB Pro either end of this year or beginning of next year is what the rumor mill was.
So it's basically your machine will have an update.
It'll be a new device, but it'll be similar to mine, but with the new preamps.
Well, that's a little.
Now, what I'm worried about, or this will be the deciding factor in whether I upgrade or not, is whether it will maintain the web-based, browser-based controls or not.
Oh, right.
Because I don't want to go to an app.
Yeah, no, you need their app.
Yeah, I don't want their app. I just wanted to do it on the browser.
And that page exists. I wonder why the Motu just can't get to it. Interesting.
Yeah.
It's those things you never know. And of course, where's the...
Speaking of Motus, why is it that every time I post a link to a cool video of like guys with tigers or pumas or something, there's always inevitably somebody that says, it's only funny until he gets eaten.
You're like, well, no, then it's really funny.
Your odds are so much higher of dying in a car accident or shooting yourself in the head with a gun twice than of being eaten by a large cat.
Especially
like that shit happens so infrequently. And the way that people are afraid of big cats, you'd think it's a daily occurrence.
Well, because they're ignorant and they don't know the reality.
Now, hold on. They run Linux, so we know they're not ignorant.
And not everybody on No Agenda Social runs Linux. I mean,
I'm pretty sure everybody on No Agenda Social runs Linux.
Like, yeah, no, Linux.
I think like 110% of the people on No Agenda Social run Linux.
Yeah, but then how do you run your Photoshop with the beta? How am I going to change clothes on people and do artwork?
You don't run that, but most people do. Hey, man, if you're not using GIMP, you're not doing graphics.
Exactly. Then I'm not doing graphics.
No, you're telling your Photoshop on what you'd like.
This is right. And this is the intriguing part is it is getting to that. And I
wonder if there's a fork of GIMP that's implementing AI now.
That would be interesting.
That would be ridiculous.
Just really all you have to do is part of the API from one of those other services and just import that right in.
Just import it, exactly. You could do it. I mean, you might as well, at that point, you might as well take MS Paint and add AI capabilities to it.
That would be awesome.
Because it still ships with every product.
And just be
every OS.
I want this and I want that.
Yeah. Dude, have you updated your Steam Deck?
Yes, fairly recently.
In the last month, they had 2.0 come out, and the software.
What's different? I haven't really noticed much different, but I haven't really dived in.
I don't know what they did internally, but there's a shit ton of new third-party stuff.
Interesting.
Which I installed a whole bunch of.
Well, that could be why your machine's rebooting all the time.
Yeah, maybe.
Did you
it kind of feels like the Stream Deck is really being mostly used as a monitor now.
Which it could very well be. Yeah.
But it's doing pings for me nonstop. It's doing
also,
Bitcoin pricing nonstop.
Also for me, yeah.
Yeah. It's checking my CPU levels. It's giving me all the hardware, like temperatures and voltages and shit. It's showing me disk drive use. It's like totally not what it was intended for.
No, but you're like, I can do it, so why wouldn't I?
Yeah, and it's got buttons. And the button I use the most, the single most useful button, is the new screen capture tool.
Oh, interesting.
Which is awesome because you just hit a button and it just gives you a lasso or a square thingy to drag on your screen and then puts it into your clipboard.
But which of my 3 screens do I want to?
Well, and that's what it solves, because normally if I hit print screen, it prints all 3 screens in one jumbled mess.
But I've got
you don't want that.
The large Stream Deck has my volume controls for the PC.
Yep. I get that. Mm-hmm.
I've got the current date and time and
I've got the Stream Deck Plus has all my knobs for those controls.
Ooh, you got the knobs. See, I don't got the knob one yet.
Yeah. Oh, you need the knobs. You got to have the knobs.
I have a 32 millisecond ping to No Agenda Social. I always think it's funny when that hits 33.
It's pretty good. I'm at 17.
You're a little closer. Well, no, I guess not. You're probably further because this is the stream would be in Canada. So what are you pinging?
Adam's house.
Oh, that's always good. So you can monitor whatever's going on there.
I'm just checking for old habits die hard.
Yeah. No reason you wouldn't want to try to test his security.
When my CO2 sensor batteries died, I got a text message from Adam saying, "Hey, what's going on with your CO2 monitor?"
Why was it? He's got this set up on his phone or something?
I gave him access to it like 12 years ago as a joke.
In case you die and you're like, I'm going to die of carbon monoxide.
Not for death. It's I'm doing my long-term study of high CO2 concentration levels and why they're better. So I keep my house somewhere between 500 and 3,000.
How do you adjust the CO2 level in your home?
I have a system.
I figured you'd have a system, but what is the system? Is it actually just a machine that does this? Or
yes, I have a CO2 generator.
I didn't even know these were things.
Yes, I also have a pure oxygen generator.
Well, that would make sense because people thrive on oxygen, but the CO2, I mean, does that something
oxygen's actually a poison. It's a toxin.
But we die without it. So there's that.
Well, you need some of it because you've got an internal combustion engine in every cell. The little mitochondrions are trying to burn oxygen all the time.
What is the CO2 machine actually made for? Like greenhouses or something like that?
Something like that.
So probably for a grow house. Is that what this is?
My house does not at all look like a grow house with all the computer monitors.
It's probably glowing from outer space, with the
heat. The infrared is like 3 times bigger than the house surrounding the entire house.
Like we don't understand what's going on.
That's so weird. Nobody ever leaves the house, but a whole bunch of people show up.
A lot of food deliveries, man.
It's just delivery people showing up left and right. What the hell's going on?
Somebody's got the munchies. No doubt.
Delivery people, what are they doing? They must be runners.
I don't want to know.
No.
But, we do have a couple of people to thank for today. I mean, really, we only have one person to thank and CSB, but our buddy Dale from Down Under.
CSB said he was just going to lounge all day today.
That was CSB?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably. He doesn't like listening to the show. He just wants you to mention.
Not. Yeah.
But see, the thing is, we mention his show now without the...
He's very mercantilistic.
He's like, Dad, talk about my show.
Dude, I started the whole show off talking about a show.
I know.
Yeah.
And he didn't even pay for that.
I know.
We'll send him a bill.
There you go. Hey, man, I'm poor now. I'm $1,100 poorer than I was a day ago.
You're a poor podcaster who's recently been the victim of identity fraud.
Yeah, which that would be not even that bad because that just means somebody tried to open up a credit card in my name. This is actual fraud and actual theft of actual money out of my bank account.
My bet is you're going to find out it's a 6 foot tall, 6'6" blonde guy wearing a Gene beard, walking around saying, "I'm Gene Nevtuliev."
I don't think so.
He has access to your CO2 monitors. He knows.
Yeah, I bet he knows.
I mean, come on. Who wouldn't want to?
Maybe I should have just cranked up the CO2 a little bit and fallen asleep.
And so relaxing.
A little bit. Yeah.
But we are.
But if you look at, I've got measurements going back 10 years for CO2 now. Like continuous measurements. So.
And how much more CO2 is in your home than in your neighbor's home, would you say? What percentage? How do you measure this?
So I do track outdoor. So outdoor was hovering, I think, around 370 to 400, depending on what day it is. It doesn't go much over 400.
Outdoor.
Yeah, outdoor.
And what's indoor?
Indoor starts at about 400, but generally is more like 600 to 800 and sometimes several thousand. I remember one guy, I had a friend of mine come to the house and, we're having a drink, chatting. This is like back when I drank. And in fact, it was my old podcast partner dude. And we're talking. I was like, oh, hey, by the way, how do you feel? Can you describe how you're feeling right now? He's like, what do you mean? Like, just, general word. Would you say you're lightheaded, short of breath? Is your heart experiencing any AFib right now? Just general signs. No, I don't know. I think I'm fine. I'm like, okay. Sounds good. Now, how many fingers am I holding up? And he's like, what the hell are you doing, dude? I was like, well, I just, I don't want to freak you out or anything, but I'm actually peaking at 5,000 parts per million on CO2 in the house right now. And this is generally a little higher than I've gotten in the past when you were here. So I just wanted to see if you're feeling anything different. That dude ran out of my house like the house was literally on fire. He did not even wait to have me explain that this is perfectly safe. Like the Earth has experienced much higher levels of CO2 during its peak.
You're like, are you feeling like I may have slipped some Rohypnol into your drink?
Well, no, he couldn't have run if I did that.
I've finally captured you.
Yes.
But we are a value for value show. Believe it or not, I say that. But then we have Dale from Down Under, who you remember came in.
I do.
Was that a week or two ago with 103.48? Well, he comes in with another 103.48.
Damn.
And says, postage okay, mention as I never check email, but we're not going to share his email. He says, as a married man, poaching Tay-Tay albums is the way you're going to catch Sir Gene's number of disappointed 20-something females. Which, I mean, disappointed 20-something females, they have a certain charm to them.
Dude, that's like the demographic right there.
Right. Gene's like exactly what I've been telling you.
Yeah.
He also says Thailand is the new Russian holiday hotspot.
Yes, it is. Indeed.
And then he says meetup ? So
maybe.
maybe there's
why is he planning on heading that away?
Maybe, perhaps we can all meet up in Thailand.
I wouldn't be opposed to that. It's probably safer than Chicago.
Probably less chance of getting shot anyway.
And he's going to be hitting $1,000 if he keeps this up.
Well, here's the thing. Like 8 minutes after that, another 103.48 came in from Dale.
Wow.
And he says, seed funding. The protection of Darren O from Crazy Fans Fund. Out of curiosity, Sir Gene, did your Rexy have or maintain any form of factory warranty?
My Rexy.
REXY. Was that your bike we were talking about?
Was it? I don't know what Rexy is. Why would he talk about my bike? Now, my bike was from Australia.
Maybe that's why, because he's from Australia.
I know, but no, there was no warranty once it got shipped to the U.S., obviously.
They're like, But
I don't, Rexy, I don't think it's the bike, dude. I think it's something else.
It could be something else. I mean, just doing a quick search, it's like I'm just seeing like Jurassic World, Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's...
I'm not sure. Restate the question with another $100 donation. I'll be sure to get back to you on that.
With or without? I mean, always preferred with, but he also
it's just easier for tracking purposes.
Right, for the accounting purposes only.
Yeah.
Blitz says Rexy sounds like a stripper. That's possible. I mean, did Rexy have a warranty?
Blitz as Rexy? Was that what he's saying?
Blitz says Rexy sounds like a stripper. But then,
well, I don't know where he goes to meet strippers, but this does not sound like a stripper name anywhere you're here.
No, it's more like Raven, April.
I mean, Rexy sounds like a dog's name to me.
Cinnamon,
like a friendly dog.
Yeah, well, that's what he said. An anime puppy tranny. That's possible. But
I mean, I don't know why the tranny part has to be in there
because it's a popular topic in the troll room.
Trannies?
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. Amdusha says,
well,
I think the warranty
tranny month.
Strippers are as is. Yes. Strippers only come with,
that's definitely strippers do not come with warranties.
And
I have dated a stripper.
But did she date you?
Well, I mean, she knew how old I was, didn't even have to.
She's like 106.
That's right.
But Dale also says
no. I took her. I remember it was interesting taking her out for her 21st birthday.
Wait, she was working as a stripper before she was 21?
You don't need to be 20. You don't need to be 21 to be a stripper.
Interesting.
Yep, depends on the state, and as long as it's a non-alcoholic, all-nude establishment, then you could be a stripper at 18.
Hey, the state we're in is insanity.
I've never gotten to see her strip. That seems like crazy. Why the fuck would people pay money for something they can't touch?
No, I would agree with you there.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have a stripper pole at home. You could have all the fun you want.
You could, but I mean, stripper pole seems like it's more fun for them than it is for me.
Well, it's good exercise.
So I hear.
We want to see Gene up on the stripper pole hanging upside down.
Nobody wants to see Gene on the stripper pole. No, believe me that.
You and Bemrose, side-by-side stripper pole action. People would be
Who told you
paying
about that?
to not see that. But Dale says it's unrelenting sinus rhythm. Yes, that's so at least for a few months, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, your ticker working?
Yeah, ever since I've started the 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, it sounds to me that has nothing to do with it. It just sounds to me like it's been working ever since you got an Apple Watch.
No, the Apple Watch, it actually took, there was a couple of months where that's the only reason I'm able to track this is it's showing those couple of months or at least multiple weeks where it was showing the AFib, 20% of the time, whatever it was. And since I started doing it's also, oddly enough, since they took that bad crown out that was obviously way too big and way too fucked up. Once that was removed, also at the same time, that was the week where I started doing.
How much did that cost you?
Well, to take it out, nothing, but it still has to be redone, which at least the dent. And unfortunately, I got to get that's the tooth.
Yeah, how much? I haven't had one done for a long time. I'm probably going to need to replace them.
Well, I have the dental insurance, so the root canals are a couple of grand.
I can do that at home.
But I need to get the redo on that one because there is one of the roots that the girl dentist that did it obviously didn't do well because I went back in a few weeks ago for just my regular cleaning and checkup, and they took the x-rays and are like, well, yes, there is something different in the root. So
bacteria.
Yeah, we do need to do going to need the redo. So I've got to go into the endodontist to do that. But at least I've got a cool dentist because he's like, I'll just make you a few, he put in a acrylic or whatever they make them out of temporary. And he's like, we'll get you through until next year when your insurance reboots. So
I had one done last year I had a crown fall off. So I had to get one redone immediately. And they 3D printed it.
It's cool, the stuff they can do now.
It seems to work fine. I mean, they took all the measurements using a camera. So there was, it wasn't like imprints like the old school. They just took pictures of the inside of the mouth with the tooth and then 3D printed a replacement crown.
But just to let you know, Alvaro in the troll room, he's like, every time you talk about it, I get reminded I also have to redo a root canal. My last quote was about $5,000.
That shit, dude. That's not worth it.
Well, see, the problem is when you're
just
redoing
pull the tooth.
you can't, though, once it's been done. Once you've had the root canal done, you can't just pull the tooth.
Sure, you could.
Not to get the roots out that are the problem.
If you pull the tooth.
Not connected.
What do you mean not connected?
I don't think that would take care of what you have going on in there.
If you've got an infection that is outside of the tooth, that's serious. That's much worse than a botched root canal. No, if you have a botched root canal, that just means that they didn't kill the entirety of the nerve with the poison that they drop in there, and that it survived long enough to maintain vascular connectivity, which then is supplying food to the bacteria that is living down there. And now it's going to be dead one way or another. But you don't want bacteria forming there because it will keep going and get into the bone.
Yeah.
I'm not a dentist or anything, but I've played one on TV before. So
it's all fun
it's
stuff.
Serious stuff. But the prices are ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Root canal used to be $350 and the getting a crown done was about $1,500.
And I really should, I don't know if it's worth the hassle of even, because the last dentist, obviously, in my estimation, total quack, not good at what they do.
Yeah.
To even try to recoup any of that, it's like, I don't think it's even worth doing
probably
that.
Not.
So
my best dentist was a chick that just got her dental license after working as a hygienist for 8 years. Because she saw all the shit that's wrong and all the shit that actually works as a hygienist and was able to then apply that to her practice as a dentist.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm definitely getting them taken care of. Cotton Gin's like, tear your teeth. Like, yes, of course.
Or just pull them out.
It's just one step at a time. So, I mean, right
that
now,
works too.
it's just more of a pain to deal with, and it's one of those things where...
Is Adam done with his? I'm perpetually like weeks behind.
I believe so. Yeah, I think he's... Okay. And I think everything's good. That was one hell of a procedure, let me tell you.
Well, I think he's basically looks like Jaws from James Bond, except they've got tooth-colored veneers on the outside, so you can't tell they're stainless steel.
Right. Well, let's go see. It's good, though, because that way you can...
But effectively, his entire, both upper and lower teeth are all... It's probably titanium. It's probably not even stainless anymore. It's probably titanium.
So we'll see what the new crown will cost. So, of course, that should be the insurance. Of course, knowing that I need the one root canal redo, which I'm guessing I'll probably have done before the end of the year, so that'll be out of pocket. I've got the other tooth that's just having cold sensitivity. That's the only issue I'm having, so I'm sure I can wait until next year to get that one done. But beyond that, those are the only ones
cold sensitivity. Yeah, I don't know if I would wait very long either. That doesn't have to, but that could mean that your tooth is cracked.
No, it's not. He looked at it. Well, what happened was it was fine until the asshole girl dentist was like, "Oh, you just have a small cavity there. We'll take care of that," and ended up taking care of the cavity. And all of a sudden, now it was sensitive to the cold. So obviously, she went too far. She was trying to grind it down because I was biting my cheek because of the stupid crown they put on that was horrible. And then her whole thing was, well, you really just should get that one pulled because I can't do a root canal on that. And even if somebody could do a root canal, it's too far back for me to do a crown on that, where the next dentist I went to is like, what?
Nah, we could do that.
Yeah, not a problem at all.
Yeah, I had, when I had that good dentist, I actually had about half my teeth crowned proactively.
Yes.
And I think I'm getting to that point where I need to start replacing those crowns. Because like I said, I've had one fall off last year and, I ate it.
Yeah, they need better glue, man.
What kind of glue do you have that lasts only 15 years?
I know it should be much better, especially in such a controlled atmosphere.
Couldn't they use super glue or something that would just be permanent?
They're like, this guy's got way too much CO2 in his mouth. So
in his mouth, yeah. Well, we might all have a little bit of CO2 in their mouth.
No, man. I have no CO2 in my mouth.
I'm trying to remember how much. I want to say that we breathe out somewhere around a pound of CO2. Maybe it's less than that, but it's at least half a pound of CO2 a day.
Nice. But I know the tooth that has the sensitivity, the dentist looked at it. It is not, and both the dentist and the endodontist even did the fancy 3D thing they do. That is not infected. That's not a problem. It's just it just doesn't feel good when I hit it with that. But yeah, the other one I'll get done.
And that's just cold or heat and cold?
Just cold. The heat, if it's really hot, I can feel a little something, but it's mainly the cold, which means I have been avoiding ice cream, even stuff like was having some hummus the other day that was right out of the fridge. And I forgot.
Oh yeah. You could feel it. Yeah.
Like, whoa, that's no good.
Yeah.
But on the bright side, that does keep you from eating a lot of stuff. So
yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I know for sure when I had that crown fall off, like I pretty much stopped eating nuts because I blamed them.
Right. Because that's what you were eating when it came out.
I was eating cashews. Or no, those are soft. I was eating pistachios. I love pistachios. I always like the flavor of those things.
They're good.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of video games, there's a bit of a sale going on. And in fact, there's a free play.
Before we get to Sir Gene's crazy spaceship thing, let me just once again say thanks to Dale for his $206.
Yeah, Dale, that's awesome. Maybe someday I'll even see a piece of that.
And 96 cents. Well, not now because I can't send you any money.
Well, that's true. Yeah, you can't send money because I don't have a cash card anymore.
It is very much appreciated. He's going to hit that 1,000 at some point, and we're going to owe him a dinner. He's just going to have
we are going to owe him a dinner. That's damn. Yeah, we are.
Get to the States. But we also had, of course, once we have the $206.96, we go to $2 from CSB. That's the drop.
Yes.
With his 8,015 Satoshis. And he simply says this time, visit www.ai.
Yeah, he's not. It's not. It's just an ad, dude. It's not even a donation. It's just an ad.
But he wants that so that way what he'll do is he'll take this audio, he'll post it on Twitter, he'll post it on No Agenda Social, and say, "Hey, this was."
But he'll do that anyway, even if we just mention him.
Right, but this way he gets what he wants to clip his little thing, and then he's like, "Well, I'll tell them about Unrelenting," and he do.
Yeah.
So if everybody would just visit,
that's true. And then I remember seeing that a couple of weeks ago, and then the next post after the little clip of Unrelenting was like, "I don't actually listen to all your shows."
Right? Why would he? Because I have a shiny voice.
I know exactly.
So I will let me get the ad read in here.
Do the ad read.
Visit.
Maybe someday you'll make more money off ad reads.
You're right. If I can only do the English accent, can I do it? So maybe in a little. Can we do it like the Lucky Charms guy? The Lucky Charms guy. Visit www.ai.cooking to listen to podcasts with AI news and AI prompt engineering tips. See that?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to challenge Gwiff to do a little bit of American accent. Then
that would be better.
No, I think it would. Yeah.
He's always talking about spotted dick and all that kind of stuff, and I'm like, what
spotted
the hell
dick's pretty good.
Is he talking about? It's spongy.
You can buy it. It is spongy.
Spongy. But if you would like to donate to the show, if you enjoy what you hear right here on Unrelenting,
send us your food. Don't send cash. Send us your food.
Gene just needs food, and don't steal his money.
Don't steal my money. That's the most important thing.
Unrelenting.show is the place you want to go. Blitz says, just doorbell ditch a sandwich on Gene's doorstep. Yeah, that would be. I see. I probably have your address somewhere. We could be like, just order.
No.
Order Gene a few pizzas.
I have yours because I had to order you Taylor Swift shit.
Right. Well, that was the P.O. box address, but I'm sure it's not hard to find. All right.
Anyway, so right now, EVE Online has a free fly event.
A free fly
I have not
event?
mentioned EVE Online. That's another spaceship video game that exists out there.
See, for a minute, I was thinking it was some porn star. Like, go see EVE Online.
EVE Online. That would be where your mind goes.
Yes.
So they're giving away a 7-day free play thing to anybody that has an account and logs in.
EVE
or creates an account and logs in. And I'm too lazy to give you the promo code, but you can figure it out on your own if you log in there. It's pretty prominent how to get your free time in the game.
We'll do that.
Yeah. And then Star Citizen is having Alien Week, but there's nothing new, so not really worth even talking about.
I mean, they should get out of their beta or their alpha, whatever they're in.
Yeah, for the last 11 years, the alpha they've been in. Mm-hmm.
11.
They should.
11 years for an alpha.
It's retarded, dude. It's all it is it's a scam ploy, whatever you want to call it, a mechanism to be able to not call purchases made by people purchases, but to call them donations.
Ooh, wait, that's
like a Kickstarter
real because it's not a fully released thing.
It is exactly for that reason because there's been some lawsuits, and so their whole cover story is we're an unreleased alpha version of the game. Everything we promised, we intend on fulfilling. But if something doesn't yet exist, just keep in mind you're not playing the full release version, so you can't bitch.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I wouldn't think that would cover their ass.
Little scammy, if you ask me.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wouldn't think that would be enough.
Yeah. And then Starfield is a game that is coming out this September. I might as well mention because we're talking about space games. And Starfield just dropped an hour-long trailer preview that shows off what the game looks like. Very, very impressive. Very similar looking to Star Citizen. It's single player, which is a bit of a distinction because Star Citizen is multiplayer. But visually, graphics related, it looks very cool. And a lot of features, I think, are more advanced than they are in Star Citizen. And it's coming from big studio Bethesda. So, although Bethesda has some pluses and minuses that go along with that name, but it's a big ass studio, and so I'm hoping they do a really good job. Because the more space games we have, the more choices that exist, the better it is for all of us space nerds out there.
You do need the space nerds. Thanks to Mitch Downey, came in with 150 sats, no message. Amducious with 66.99, who says, here's to sticking it in the butt. Okay. And C. Brooklyn with 10,000 Satoshi saying big Hooters boost.
That must have been from a while ago when we were talking about Hooters.
Yeah, big Hooters boost. That was 1036. I need a way to monitor this stuff real time.
Yeah, why are you not monitoring that stuff real time?
Because BoostBot used to work, but BoostBot's not in the troll room right now. So there's a bunch of these systems that kind of work. And Conchecks, which does a decent job of showing the transaction history, does not automatically refresh. And when you refresh, you have to like click something else to get the page back. Where I would like just for the thing to have a running count that comes out and shows me when something new comes up. And I was doing that with the Satoshi stream, but then that was, for some reason, every now and then was so late that it didn't make sense to even try to monitor it live. So it's getting there, but the system is not perfect as of yet, at least for us. It seems to work a lot better for the Podfather, but I know they have their own nodes and all that kind of stuff. So that may be why. When you got your own node, when you run your own.
I got my own node too. It's costing me more money than I make every month.
Well, it's costing you as much as you're losing just by having a bank account.
That's true. Having a bank account is the surest way to lose money.
They're like, sir, you would like your money, sir? No.
Yeah.
At least they didn't empty the whole account, or did they? That would be even better.
No, they didn't, which is, I'm kind of happy it had a low enough limit, but it still sucks. I mean, it's not a trivial amount of money. $1,000 is like, you could buy a decent gun for that.
Or almost 2 Mac Minis.
Or you could, exactly. Or you could almost buy a new phone. Almost.
Yeah. I gotta trade some of my Satoshis in for cash or Apple gift cards or Amazon gift cards. And the more that keeps adding up to, the more I'm like, oh, maybe I should get this. Oh, maybe I should get that. So thanks everybody for helping to donate to keep everything running smoothly.
Yeah.
The drive that I have all the podcasts on, oddly enough, that's the one that's about out of space. So I need to move some stuff. Even though I go through everything and I convert it all to FLAC, which when you convert just plain speaking to
you don't
FLAC,
need to go to FLAC, dude. That's such overkill.
Well, it records in WAVE. So I'm going
it's
from
even
WAVE.
more overkill. You don't need WAVE recording for voice.
Oh, you do. You got to get it so that way the MP3 sound good.
No.
That's why my shows sound better than your shows, Gene.
They don't, though.
They do. Ask everybody.
Yeah, okay.
Do a poll on No Agenda Socialite. Whose show has better audio quality? These, baby. These. They stand up. Stand up with the best of the best.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anything fun going on this weekend out there? On Father's Day, how many kids are going to come to your door, Gene?
Hopefully none.
Surprise.
Don't need any more surprises this week.
Right. Well, it would only be good if the kid was the one that stole your ATM card.
Oh, yeah, that would be hilarious. Wouldn't it?
Guess what? I'm actually the rightful heir to this money.
That's right.
You're like, what?
Why does my Windows want to reboot my computer now?
It always wants to reboot your window.
Stupid thing.
But I did notice that was the one nice thing on the Merlin firmware for the Asus router, which is basically, it's not quite DDWRT. It's more like a project where people just expand a little bit what the Asus router can do. But one of the things that is added in is the ability to set it to do an automatic reboot, which I never do.
That's built in, dude. That was built into the standard Asus software.
No, then I think that was something not in the Adherent anymore. I think it was just in the Merlin. Depends. Maybe they have updated.
I don't know. It was on my Asus router that I had for years.
And it's something that it's like, I don't like to do because I use the crazy internet things for like white noise when sleeping. So
yeah, I may just fully turn it off. I've been doing it for like a decade just because I ran into those situations where I could not connect to home. And the only thing I did when I came back is power cycle the router and everything came back. I'm like, son of a bitch. I wish I had. Now, many years ago, and I don't want to get going too deep because we're at our time limit here, but we're about to about to get pushed off the air by the Podfather. But I remember days back in the early 90s where we actually had these really expensive doodads that were internet connected power strips.
Now, okay, I know what a power strip is. I know what internet connected did, but what does the internet?
Yeah. And I shouldn't say internet connected. They were data connected power strips. So they were meant for data centers to be able to remotely power cycle systems.
Ah, gotcha.
And of course, I had one of those back then for my house and for the rack in the house. And except for mine was internet connected, not directly, obviously through VPN. I've been using VPNs forever. But that was sort of like the brute force hardware method
of rebooting.
Like, hey, something's not coming up. All right, we're going to have to power cycle it. And you literally just
unplug it,
down
plug it back in.
Powered back up. Yeah.
The machines are set to reboot.
It wasn't as big a deal because the RAID array was external. And so the drives didn't have to get power cycled, just the PC got power cycled.
Ah, well, that's not too bad then. And you get you back up and running quicker.
Yeah, not like right now. I mean, with the freaking SSDs, M2 cards, like
boom,
power cycling takes 5 seconds.
Uh-huh. Well, I noticed that as long as I don't have because I've got like probably
except unless Windows
drives.
Wants to do an update.
Right. Or if you have a bunch of external drives for some reason, that still confuses. Anything on the USB, the machine's like, what is this? I want to know before I boot up.
Mm-hmm.
I really should disconnect a lot of those. Although I do I don't even know what brand this thing is. I bought a new USB 3 that has individual switches for every
I got one of that same thing. It's probably the same brand.
Probably. There's like 15 things that'll hold in here.
12, I think I got on mine.
It's a godsend to be able to go boom.
Little power buttons next to every single individual one. The problem is I didn't label them, and I don't remember which one turns what off, so I usually turn the whole damn thing off anyway.
Well, that does it too. But if you know which one it is, now I've got my...
Ideally, you would.
I've got my YubiKey right in the first one, like right underneath the monitor, so that is always plugged in now. That just works. But if you want more of this exciting, scintillating tech talk, Gene got Rob talk, the whatever you want, you'll find it here on Unrelenting. Just come back next week and tell a friend or two.
Same bad channel, same bad time.